Some English language learners find it a challenge to properly pronounce all of the vowels in English. So why is that? Well, it's because some of the vowels that we use in English may not be used in your language. And when that is the case, you'll have to learn how to produce a new language sound that you've never produced before. And this can be quite a challenge because we tend to pronounce without thinking very much about what we're saying. We've turned our pronunciation into habits. And so we have to learn new habits in order to properly pronounce those words. And so how do we develop those habits? Well, let me give you an example. So we know that almost every language in the world has these three sounds: E, E, A. And those three sounds, we say, are located on the front of the vowel triangle. What that means is that they are pronounced in the front of the mouth. And E, E, A, E, E, A, E, E, A. If you pronounce those letters in that order, you can feel your jaw going up and down, and then down and up and down, okay? E, E, A, E, A, E, right? Now this concept is very, very important because every vowel can be described as a function of where it is pronounced in the mouth, right? Now, if those are the only three front vowels that your language has, then there are two vowels in English that are going to present a challenge because they are pronounced in the front of the vowel triangle but in different places. Okay, so how do we find them? Well, recognize that when we say E, E, A, E is a middle vowel, right? E is in between E and A. Okay? Well, English has a vowel in between E and E. And it is the short I sound, I. And so this is how it sounds if we pronounce those three vowels in order. E, I, I, E, I, E. Okay? Now, if I does not exist in your language, you have to learn it. And the way that you learn it is by doing that exercise, that practice, thinking about the movement of your jaw until you can hear the distinction. E, I, E, I, E. You're stopping in the middle between E and E. Okay? Now, everybody can learn this. The way that you learn it is by doing repetition exercises every day. Ideally several times a day for short periods of time. So when you are, walking outside or driving or someplace where nobody can hear you, you want this to be going E, I, E, E, I, E, E, I. Practice that E, I, E. Practice that up and down and up and down. Now at first, you're not going to get it. It's going to sound like something like E, I, E, I, E, I, E, like that, and you're going to be frustrated and you say, I'll never get it. But you keep doing it, and eventually you will get it. Eventually you're going to be going E, 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 and then suddenly you're going to hear E, I, and you go, that was right. Your ear's you're going to notice. And so then you'll try again, and you'll hit it again. And so then you might start by hitting it one time out of 50, and then one time out of 10, and then one time out of 5, and eventually you'll get it every time. Same thing with all the other vowels in English. E, A, and then A, O, A, and O, U, O. Okay? So that's how you find those vowels mechanically. And you won't find those vowels mechanically unless you practice. It doesn't require a lot of time, but it requires frequent practice. You may want to look at my video on habitualization and why it matters that you do that. There's an explanation of how it functions. But if you want to pronounce English properly, especially the short vowels, this is what you have to do, is practice those articulation points until you get them just right.